What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the biggest problem with Wonder Woman 1984, and that is the Wishing Stone. Now, let me say this really quickly. I know it's called the Dream Stone. Nobody's online is it really is calling it the Dream Stone. I wanted to say it like that, but it seems like everybody under the sun is calling it the Wishing Stone. So, just for fun, just so everybody's kind of on the same page, I will call it the Wishing Stone. And I mean, you do get a wish from it. It's more of a Wishing Stone than I think a Dream Stone. So, we are going to call it that. I do want to just clear that up going into it. But in my opinion, this is the thing in this movie, the single biggest aspect of this movie that ruins the movie. Now, I reviewed it on my second channel today. If you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, it's called Podcast Now Plus. You guys can also obviously hopefully subscribe here if you guys like this content. But I reviewed it. Yesterday, we talked about the difference between critics when they loved it and then normal people, right? That there's a lot of issues with it. And I said that I wanted to talk about the biggest aspects of it. And there are some other things, I guess, in this movie that don't always land. I would say really the second biggest thing is like the CGI, like the fighting scenes, Cheetah. Like when she's actually Cheetah, I actually think Kristen Wiig did a pretty good job. The golden armor, which is literally just there just to sell things, just to sell merchandise, right? There are other issues. But to me, the Wishing Stone makes no sense. When I talk about how the movie is messy, this is where it comes down to. Because the Wishing Stone seemingly has different rules depending on what the plot needs it to do, okay? And I get it's a comic book movie, and I feel like if this video like does big, I feel like there will be people that come in and say, well, it's a comic book movie, so obviously there's going to be things that, you kind of have to suspend your belief. That's fine. Like anything, even in a comic book movie, you need to set rules. And once you set those rules, you can do whatever you want. And for a comic book movie, right, when you have like super powers and things that are, above what we're normally used to seeing in other movies, right? When there's like bigger things out there. Again, you can do that all you want, but there needs to, not necessarily limitations, but again, there needs to be rules that your movie follows. And if it doesn't follow those rules, then it's too hard to follow the movie, and the movie kind of collapses, okay? And that's what I think happened with Wonder Woman 1984. The movie wanted to do certain things. I think the movie probably wanted to bring back Stephen Trevor, right? But, like, it needed a reason to, okay? It needed a lot of different reasons to do a lot of different things, and it just kind of went with the flow and hoped people would follow it and allow everything to work, okay? So let me go over just a couple things. Number one, again, the stone has different rules depending on, it seems like, who is wishing. And also, then it changes rules again when Maxwell Lord uses it, which I think I know certain things about this movie. I feel like I followed certain things, but I do want to ask you guys some questions because I am also kind of confused. Maybe other people are too. But all right, when Barbara wished for her powers, it seemed like it took it days to happen. Now, you could argue she just didn't do certain things in that time where she wouldn't have realized it, right? Like she woke up. She wished for the power to make her, like, look back. I don't want to say the word just because I'm afraid what YouTube will do. But, she wanted to be more like Diana in looks as well as powers, okay? So she put makeup on. I mean, that's number one. That was kind of like the only thing that changed there. She kind of like put effort into like making herself look good. And I guess like everybody like started to like take notice of her more, right? So that was kind of a thing. And that happened more right away. She moved when like the water, when the janitor knocked the water thing over. She did like her reflexes, but she wasn't strong, or maybe again like she didn't use her strength, but it seemed like it took her 2 full days and even more than that to start to really develop her stuff. Now that's kind of the issue because the thing is, the movie seemed to make it be where when you lose something, it takes time to do that. So like Diana wishing for Steven, she lost her powers, but she was losing her powers. She didn't lose it day one. Just like Barbara didn't lose basically her humanity, she didn't lose that day one. It took time. But the issue is, and let's connect it to Maxwell Lord, when he started granting wishes, he took things and it happened immediately. So the things that people were losing for the wishes that they did happened instantaneously. You know what I mean? Like he wished for health on himself towards the end and he immediately got it, which means somebody lost that at the exact moment that they wished for it. But like for Diana and for Barbara, they seem to lose things over time. So like the stone doesn't, so this is just one example. I know you guys could say, well, this is like a small issue or a small example. No, because this is just one thing where the stone doesn't seem to actually have rules that it operates by, right? Sometimes it takes more than one day for somebody's wish to come true. Sometimes it takes more than one day for somebody's loss to happen. Like it's different for each person, which makes no sense. It should follow a set of rules, and when you don't follow those rules, especially towards the ending, everything kind of falls apart. All right, so we have that. Number 2 is, does it read minds? Does the stone read minds? Because sometimes the wish had to be very direct. Sometimes the wish seemed to infer what you were meaning. So, and this goes to my question. So I'll just ask the question now to get out of the way. Did Barbara get 2 wishes? Because she wished on the stone originally, but then when she was in the plane with Maxwell, he basically asked her, what more do you want? And like she said, like, I already did my wish. And he said, well, what more do you want? And she wished to be an apex predator, which clearly was Cheetah. Like, that's why she looked like Cheetah, is because she said those words. Now, you could argue, and my wife was trying to rationalize it to me. I think she was making good points. I'm not saying she's wrong. And this is my question to you. Did Maxwell give her those powers without a wish being attached, or did she literally wish on it twice? Because she wished on it twice, that breaks the entire thing. You can only wish one time, so that doesn't make sense. And you could say, well, he gave her it, but she literally, didn't she say she wished to be an apex predator? Like, she didn't wish to be Diana anymore, she wished to be her own unique person. So it doesn't really make sense how that worked whatsoever. But again, going to the actual wishing part, like the reading minds thing. So she wished to be an and even if you say, okay, like maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe she didn't say the word wish. Well, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, because again, like the thing with Maxwell too, which is funny, is he was forcing people. Like he said, like, I wish this. Don't you wish this, right? And he was getting the person to say the word wish, because it seems like if you didn't say the word wish, it didn't matter what you said. It wouldn't happen, right? You needed to say that word, but that doesn't make sense because Diana didn't say anything. She, thought it. She thought it in her head. She held it, and when she was, looking at it, that's when she was thinking it. She never said anything. She didn't say, I wish for him to come back. And even if she did say anything, how would they know they're talking about Stephen Trevor? That's the thing with, Kristen Wiig, or Barbara, with wishing she was Cheetah. She said apex predator. Why did it make her a cheetah? You know what I mean? Like, did it infer that that's what she was? Did it infer that that's what she meant? Was she wanted to look and be like that? Or did it just kind of pick something out of random? Okay? How did it actually work? One of the final things, this could be the final thing, I'm kind of just ranting because I am actually getting more and more mad as I talk about it. The ending with Maxwell Lord, come on. The ability to grant, so, I mean, yes, I guess particles do impact all of us, but, it seemed to be very clear that they needed to be touching the stone. And I get, again, the particles were technically, touching, our minds or, our bodies, right, through the TVs and stuff. So, I guess they made that work. They didn't really make it work. They forced it to work. That was kind of an issue there where, he literally had said earlier in the movie, right, that he was looking for a way to touch multiple people, and then this particle thing kind of came into effect, right? But even like that, again, that was, a funny example of the president where he said, I want all your power. And again, he got that immediately. He didn't have to wait 4 days like Diana did to lose her powers. He got it immediately, which again doesn't really make sense. But the idea of the stone is to destroy the stone, they said you either need to destroy the person or the stone itself, but the stone was in Maxwell Lord. So you either need to do that, or anybody that wished on something needs to give it up. And the issue is that nobody would ever do that, right? So Diana did it. She got her powers back. Yippee. Okay. And the idea to get everybody to wish what they did back makes no sense. So that's the thing too. And here's another thing I kind of just stumbled upon. Sometimes the stone took away things on its own. So Diana lost her powers on its own. Maxwell didn't say, I want her to lose her powers. It just did that. Barbara, she lost her humanity. She didn't pick to have that be taken from her. But when Maxwell had the stone, he got to choose what people took. Now, I guess you could say, well, again, the stone has a mind of its own, so, it picked that they would lose those things, but again, what, does it have to be equal value? So, Diana brought a life, this is kind of how my sister-in-law was trying to rationalize it. She brought a person back to life, but technically she didn't, by the way, because he possessed another person's body, which is really weird. Why couldn't he actually have just come back to, if she wished to have him back, why didn't he actually come back? Why was there kind of a catch, a loophole in that wish itself? You know what I mean? That doesn't even make sense on its own. And so you brought a life back to, you brought somebody back to life. So do you have to lose your life? Is that 1-to-1? It's got to be equal. So something so powerful as bringing somebody back from the dead, you need to lose all your powers and you'll just be like a normal person? Does that equal out? Barbara, like she gets all these powers like Diana, but she loses like being a nice person. Like, is that equal? And then like Maxwell, he's like, okay, president, like you can have your nukes, but I want to basically be you. And that's like an equal thing. Like that's a one-to-one thing. Or again, like somebody, when they were wishing on the TV screen at the end of the movie, he was just going off. He's like, oh, maybe a person asked for like a puppy and they're like, okay, well, I want your entire life. Like I want your health. You transfer that to me. Like that's not one-to-one. That doesn't equal out. But does it need to? Is it selective? Because again, like it chose for Diana and Barbara, but then it was kind of all random. And the final thing is, again, like going back to the whole everybody needs to give back their thing, basically. Everybody needs to give back their wish. Who said that everybody did that? So I guess the ending of the movie kind of does infer or like expect you to believe that everything goes back to semi-normal and everybody's wish that they wanted, they all took back. How? How is that even possible? Number one, not that many people that were watching the TV at the same time, watching Maxwell would actually end up happening. But number two, again, like, okay, well, you have a lot of people wishing for things that I'm sure they would want to take back. I guess the idea is the world was in such disarray that everybody would say, okay, well, I don't want that anymore. Just give me back the world that it was, right? And that's kind of what the movie was trying to explain with the rioting and all of the different stuff all around the world, where it's like, okay, well, nobody really wants this, and I guess you could say they're seeing the truth. You could argue that that was kind of a way that they threw that in there, right? Because everybody was seeing the truth through Max, that, okay, well, this is what is really happening. I don't want that, so I'm going to take back my wish. But here's the deal. Not everybody's wishes were equal. The person that wished for that person in the store to drop dead, his wish is not the same as if you wished for $1 million. In fact, I think somebody did ask for $1 million, or that woman that asked to be famous. Like, yes, she may not like it, but like, is that the same as wishing for nukes? So, and that's another thing too. I said this, I think, on my second channel. I don't want to say the word, but bad people that wish for, that are like organized, that wish for destruction for another group, the word that we kind of all give those people, like, yeah, they would also, I guess, see what the world would become, but do they care? Like, if they asked for more, so like, yeah, like the United States may have taken back that wish and said, okay, well, we don't want like an extra 100 nukes. But like, what about like other countries out there that maybe their people are just generally bad people, and not to say like we're so perfect, but you know what I mean? Like, so other people, like even in the movie, like why is it like assumed that they're going to all give back their wishes too? And if they don't give back their wishes, the stone is still around. And is that supposed to happen? Like, is the stone still supposed to be around in this movie? They don't really ever say if the stone is destroyed. In fact, they never show the stone again at all. Once Maxwell, says his wish is gone, right? He doesn't want his wish anymore. They never show the stone. Like, does the stone shoot out of him? Does the stone, like, completely be destroyed forever? How does that work? So see what I'm saying? These are, and by the way, I am sure I'm forgetting stuff because I did not write this down. I'm sure you guys probably know that watching this video. It's like, well, man, Alex, you don't shut up, number one. And number two, you probably don't have a script for this. I never have scripts for any of my videos. But you know what I mean? Like this is just a couple of things. I'm sure I'm missing more things in this movie that don't really make sense. But they're all, in my opinion, attached to the stone. The ending of the movie, and I didn't even mention the fact, by the way, that like some people's wishes, like the missiles literally evaporate out of thin air, but like then a lot of the stuff around the streets and stuff, that was still happening. Or like, when Maxwell was going to his son, there was still like all that debris on the ground. Well, like if those were caused by a wish, shouldn't they be taken away too? Or maybe they weren't caused by a wish, maybe they were caused by just rioting in general. So like, did everybody's wish just evaporate? And like, shouldn't he go to jail because like he caused all this to happen? And nobody like forgot that the wish happened. I could go on forever talking about this. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Did the stone make any sense to you? Can you answer some of my questions? Maybe you can make it make more sense. But I really think that the movie kind of butchered it. Again, I think to simplify it, the movie wanted things to happen. They wanted to hit certain points, right? They wanted certain things to just, do. And they kind of created this, and they kind of bent their own rules at times to make it happen. And that's not how you do it. That's not how you make a movie. I don't make movies, but I know that's not how you do it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. You want to subscribe to my second channel, Podcast Now Plus. The link for it is in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I do want to make more Wonder Woman videos over the coming days, and I hope to see you guys there.